Hey, what's going on, guys? My name. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is David, aka Bovid/Dovid19, and today I'm going to be showing you my Elemental Hero deck profile. So here we are in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. We're going to go ahead and go into my Elemental Hero deck. This is a deck that I kind of built myself, and it is pure hero. I wouldn't say it's pure Elemental Hero because we do have some masked heroes and a mask change in the play. Some masked heroes in our extra deck, and then a mask change in the play. But overall, for the main deck, it's all elemental heroes. Except for a few, in my opinion, necessary. Maybe not necessary in your eyes, but these are pretty crucial in my eyes. At least for the level I play at. I'm gold 4 currently. I've gone up to gold 1, I believe, or 2. I wouldn't give myself the space scratch. Cut that out. Cut that out. I am. I think the highest I've ever been is gold 2, and that's been using this deck and then another deck that I use, which is a geared deck. If you're interested in seeing that in play, go ahead and let me know. It's not my actual deck, but it's very fun to play. I'll go ahead and go and do a review of it if requested. Not that anybody watches my shit. Oh man. All right, let's get started on what All right, so let's get started on our. All right, so let's get started on our main deck. Gross. All right, so let's get started on our main deck. So to start off, we have quite a bit of a normal monsters. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but I mainly run these as disposables. For example, for a fusion summon, or if I need to discard a card. Excuse me. Or if I need to discard a card, then I can go ahead and throw out one of these normal monsters. But also, I have um. So let me back up a little bit here. So this deck is mainly built around our hero of the deck, Elemental Hero Sunrise. This is such a powerful monster, and it is probably my favorite hero monster ever. Okay, so it takes two hero monsters with different attributes, which is not hard at all. So right off the bat, you can see why I have a few different attributes, but also I believe there's another card that comes into play. Uh, actually, there's actually this card that comes into play that gives a bonus benefit for having different attributed monsters. So let me move my webcam real quick, and we'll go ahead and read the effect. I might just keep my webcam down here. Okay. I kind of like it on the other side though, so we'll move it back. So must be fusion summoned. Fair enough. That's why we're running two polymerizations and then three miracle fusions, and I'll show you a little bit more why. So this is the main monster we're trying to summon, and I'm gonna show you its effect, and then we'll talk more about it. So two hero monsters with different attributes must be fusion summoned. When it's summoned, it has its effect. Monsters you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute control. This is not limited to elemental hero monsters, it's just all monsters you control. It's pretty good, not gonna lie. For a archetype specific kind of monster. So the next effect it has is you can only use each of the following effects of elemental hero sunrise once per turn. That's two. If this card is special summoned, so this is when right off when you summon it. This should be right when you summon it. Fusion summon it. Okay, scratch that. Scratch that out. We're gonna rewind. And it also gains one of the following two effects once per turn. Check this out. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. It's a spell card. Miracle Fusion is a spell card. And the next one is when an attack is declared involving another hero monster that you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. And the wording on this is very, very, very specific, I would say. Um, mm, Maybe not specific, but more rather. I think I'm gonna redo that whole part. So once it's summoned, it also gains these other two effects, which are con- so once it's summoned, it also gains these two effects, which are a bit conditional, but you're gonna get one right off the bat once you fusion summon it. Because remember, fusion summons count as special summons as well. So if this card is special summoned, you can add one Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. And Miracle Fusion is a spell card that is used to fusion summon more monsters. And the next effect that it has is when an attack is declared involving another hero monster that you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy. And this is a very, 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 very powerful effect in my opinion because it doesn't say when your hero monster declares an attack. It says when an attack is declared involving another hero monster. So not Sunrise here. If an attack is declared involving Sunrise, then the effect won't activate. But what does it mean when it says when an attack is declared involving a hero monster? Well, what it means is if your hero declares an attack, your hero monster, excuse me, declares an attack on your opponent's monster, that is considered an attack being declared involving a hero monster. But if that same monster targets your hero monster for an attack, then this effect still activates because it's still considered an attack because it is still because the condition is met, excuse me. An attack has been declared involving your hero monster. So I believe that's a really good effect, and it could just pop any card on the field, including your own, if so needed to be. So this is the hero of our deck. This is what we mainly revolve. This is the monster we mainly revolve our strategies around, and we're gonna get into the nitty gritty after this. So again, once again, if a monster attacks your Sunrise, or if your Sunrise attacks a monster, this effect, where you get to pop one card, does not activate. Now, let's get into the main deck. So, right here, we're running Elemental Hero Avion. The only reason is to have a wind type monster, because when I was building this, after a few iterations of the decks, I realized I didn't have a wind type, and I thought, I kind of wanted to play out the attribute, uh, Sunrise's attribute effect a lot more, so that's what I decided to go with. So I decided to go with Avion just to have that other attribute. I think I have one of each attribute. I'm actually not sure, but I think I do. Probably not. I think I'm missing one, but I think I have all of them. So running one Avion. Avion's pretty trash as a regular normal card itself. 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense, not that good. Only good for fusion summons, and for mask change, which we'll get into later. Then we're running two Burstinatrix. I'm running two of her because I think I've said this already, or this may have been in the last take of mine, but I have a lot of normal monsters here as disposable cards. And what I mean by that is in this deck, you're sometimes gonna have to get rid of a card. only on a couple occasions, but I usually have these to be disposable. We're gonna redo that. So right off the bat, we're running Elemental Hero Avion, and we're only running one of him because we only need one wind monster. For this deck, I'm really trying to play out the attribute effect of Sunrise, where he gets every monster, including himself. I'm gonna say himself. I think it's a him, including himself, gains 200 attack for each attribute control. And I use Avion just so I could get that other attribute um, for the effect. However, I do have a lot of other masked heroes in my extra deck, and I have mask change to change my Avion into one of my wind monsters as a last resort. I use mask monsters usually as a last resort. I have mask changes there as a last resort, just in case I'm out of fusion summons. So that's mainly what they're there for. Or if I have no other options and I'm close to losing the duel, that's what they're for. So one Avion, wind isn't too important. Him himself as a card is pretty bad. 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense. Just use him to fusion summon a monster. He could be one of the two attributes to summon Sunrise. You could summon you can mass change him into Blast or Divine Wind, or you could fusion summon him into something else. I don't think I have a Wind fusion summon though. Anyways, we're running 2 Burst of Natrix. She's slightly better than Avion in terms of attack, slightly worse in terms of defense. Running 2 of her because um, we have our secondary boss monster, which is Nova Blast, and he requires 1 fire monster at least, and 1 elemental hero monster. So what better than elemental hero Burst of Natrix, right? Next, we're running a Clayman. I just like Clayman because he's a really solid defense, 2,000 attack for level 4, really good. So if you ever need that, uh, if you don't draw a good hand getting the cards you need to start building, then you could just throw Clayman down and hopefully he'll survive into the next round. And if not, that's completely fine. Again, also a disposable card. You could use him in a fusion summon or in a mass change. Sparkman, probably the best out of the normal elemental heroes. 1,600 attack, 1,400 defense. He is level 4, so you can normal summon him just like that for your normal. You can normal summon for your normal summon, just like that. And it's pretty solid card to start off with. If your opponent doesn't have any good cards, maybe has a face down you want to attack and reveal, using Sparkman to do that would be a fairly good bet because he has such high attack. And also again, disposable card, fusion summons, mass change, you know the drill. Next we have Max C because Yu-Gi-Oh at this level, or honestly at any level at this point, has a lot of special summons. So this is a pretty good first first hand draw if you're going second. So your opponent could set up or whatever, and then your opponent could try to set up, and you could use your Max C to either stop the setup or let him keep setting up with special summoning monsters, but then give you a gigantic hand for next turn. And I've had that happen to me. Somebody actually just let me draw a bunch of cards. They just kept special summoning and special summoning and special summoning, and I won that game because I had so many cards in my first hand like that. So I use it for that mainly. It's not really a good middle game kind of card to draw into because at that point most of the boss monsters have been summoned, and I mean there are a lot of decks that can, how do you say, special summon from the graveyard and to keep cycling into more special summons, but mainly this is usually a turn 1, turn 2 kind of card. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spirit. This is an essential card at this point for beginners, in my opinion. And I am not a beginner. I am just a super casual player. As you can see, I'm playing an elemental hero deck. And also I don't really like link summoning. And it's a new mechanic. I don't want to learn, along with pendulum summoning. I stopped after XZ summoning. XZ summoning was the last tolerable kind of summoning that I understood, that I tolerated, I guess. That was released, excuse me. So anyways, as lobs and joyous, hand trap, if somebody activates an effect that can special summon from the deck or send a card from the deck to the graveyard, you can negate it and destroy the card. Oh, actually, I think it just negates the card. I don't know if it destroys, actually. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to take a water break. Alright, so next we're running Elemental Hero Captain Gold. He only serves one purpose, really, which is to draw out our Skyscraper if we don't already have it in hand. And if not, another disposable card for Poly, Miracle Fusion, or Mass Change. Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This is a really good card to have in my deck, and I'm running 2 copies of her. What she does is, if she's special summoned, you can add a 1 change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. I don't really use this effect too often. I don't usually special summon into Shadow Mist unless it's really, really desperate. So an example I would have is I have no cards in the field. I have no summonable monsters. But I do have a Monster Reborn and a Mask Change. Oh no, I don't. But I do have a Monster Reborn. So I can special summon her, get this Max Change from my deck, and then Mass Change into one of my dark masked heroes. But her second effect is really what sells her to me, for this deck at least. So let's read it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, notice the wording is not if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. It's just if it's sent to the graveyard. So what that means is if you use Polymerization to fusion summon her from the hand, then that counts too because you send her to the graveyard. It works with Miracle Fusion too, but only if you have her summoned on the field, because for Miracle Fusion is a hold effect, which we'll get to too. If she's sent to the graveyard, you can add a 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand except Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, and you can only use each effect once per turn. Or you can only use 1 effect of hers per turn. That's kind of an L on her part, but honestly, you really only want to use the second effect. So, what I mainly used to get is these are our second 2 heroes of the deck. So I use her second effect to usually pull into Blazeman or into Liquid Soldier if I don't have either in my hand. What Blademan does is when he's normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Polymerization to your hand. I'm only running 2, you can change that, but I already have a lot of cards. I may be running too many trap cards, honestly. I'm running 9 trap cards. That's crazy. But it is what it is. I think I have a good ratio though, honestly. It's not bad at all. So yeah, if you draw into him, you can normal summon him. If you have the capability to special summon him, even, then you can get the Polymerization. And if you have Liquid Soldier in your hand and you poly him, or if he's in the graveyard and it's been a turn or whatever, since you polyed him, then you could use Miracle Fusion to activate this effect too. But he has 2 effects as well. When this card is normal, and Blazeman has another effect, but it's not really that great of an effect, so I'm not gonna read it. So when Liquid Soldier is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 hero in your graveyard, except Liquid Soldier and Special Summon, which is a pretty good card. You could use him to special summon into Shadow Mist, get that change, that Mask Change card, or even better, you could normal summon him and special summon into Blazeman and get that Polymerization, which is also a good strategy. But the second effect is if this card is used as a fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, so you can use Miracle Fusion, which banishes, or Polymerization, which sent to the graveyard. You can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. And this is really the card what I mean where these disposable cards come in handy. Because you could draw a Burstinatrix or Clayman or Sparkman that you don't really need, and a spell card that you actually do need. And you and you and excuse me. I think I'm gonna redo that. And this is what I start to mean when and this is where we start to get what I mean. And this is where we start to get about where I mean. This is where we start to get to where I was talking about disposable cards. So this is the one card that really draws you cards like that. Besides, actually, it's only this one. So you draw two, discard one. So you're at a +1 with this card. Um, but also you send one to the graveyard. This effect is super 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 good because you can just use it in combination with so many other cards. Maybe not in combination, but you could chain his effect. You could basically use him as a third chain most of the time. That's how you're gonna be using it. Is what I'm trying to get at. But I'm just saying he's a really good card because he gives you basically an extra job in your turn. So you draw two, discard one, and then what I was trying to say was these are what I mean by disposable cards. If you draw into one of these, you could just go ahead and and just send it to the graveyard if you don't need it. Say if you needed it, say you need whatever. I would say any spell card or trap card would be better than a normal monster like Avian, Burstinatrix. Maybe Clayman or Sparkman, but I would probably most likely send Sparkman to the graveyard and probably keep Clayman over him, just because he has higher defense. Alright, so next we're running Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. I believe I'm only running him because... okay, so I do have more Earth attributes, but also he has an effect which isn't too bad. So when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a 1 level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by spell effect, you can target one hero monster in your graveyard, except Elemental Hero Solid Soldier, special summon in defense position. So not a bad card. I would say you could probably do without Solid Soldier. He's kind of an okay card. He's not that great. I might even take him out of my main deck because honestly, I feel like when I draw into him, sometimes it's kind of a brick, even though it's not a real brick. It just feels stuck when I draw into him. And I say this because there's probably just like he's not really needed. If you're normal summoning, you're really gonna want to normal summon Blazeman to get the polymerization if you don't already have to. And if you already do have polymerization in your hand, then you don't need to summon him to special summon a level 4 because you could just poly it into your hand. So I would say debatably you could go without this card. The only scenario I really see this card's working is you have no poly, but you do have two monsters and you have a Miracle Fusion. And Miracle Fusion can you only fusion summon by banishing fusion materials from the field or the graveyard. And this is probably a first turn fusion summon. So you have no monsters in the graveyard, no monsters on the field, but you do have two monsters in your hand, and one of them includes Solid Soldier. So you normal summon Solid Soldier, you normal summon one other level 4 or lower, and then you use your Miracle Fusion to fusion summon into Sunrise. You're always going to run fusion into Sunrise, because when you get Sunrise, you get another Miracle Fusion, and then you could potentially fusion summon again. Alright, so the final monster we're running here is Elemental Hero Honest Neos. This is a card mainly used for potentially last turns. What it does is you can throw it from the hand to the graveyard. One of your hero monsters gains 2,500 attack until the end phase, or the end of this turn, I guess. And That, or if you summon in, you could discard a hero monster and it gains 2500 attack. Or it gains attack equal to the monster's attack. But you're mainly just going to be using him to boost up your monsters. This is either on the turn that you think think or suspect that you're going to be able to win if you've gained this 2500 additional attack, or if you're getting swung at, one of your monsters is getting swung at in attack position, and it's going to end the game for you. You use this, boost up your monster's attack, potentially win that battle, if not destroy both the monsters. That's really what you're aiming for. Or, if not, at least mitigate the damage so where you don't lose that turn. That's mainly what you're going to be using him for. Just discard, boost a monster. Next, we're running some pretty powerful cards. I'll call them power cards. We're going to get into the power cards. We're running Reigeki. This royal monster your opponent controls. Your opponent goes first. He has a lot of monsters set up, but he has no potential negates. Go ahead and use that. Harpy's Feather Duster. Your opponent sets up a big backline. Go ahead and ruin their day. Monster Reborn. Just a great card overall. You could use him to special summon into Blazeman. Get that Poly. Shadow Mist to get that change. That mask change. Or any other card that you may need. Great card. Reinforcement of the Army. This could also honestly be switched out for another E emergency call. And what E emergency call does is adds one elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand. And this could honestly, and probably should honestly, be switched out for another E. So if you probably need to run this deck in real life, you could probably switch out the reinforcement of the army for E, unless you want to run 3 E's and 1 reinforcement of the army, which is another viable option. But I'm rolling only 2 E's and 1 reinforcement of the army, which I don't know why. I should be running 3 E's. I do have a lot of cards in my deck already, though. So we'll figure it out. 3 Miracle Fusions. You could draw into 1. You have 2 potential extra draws if you fusion summon or special summon Sunrise. Next we have a Magical Mallet. Shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck, then draw that same number of cards. So this is usually, I only use this if I draw into a bad hand that I don't like. Too many traps, too many spells. Overall a great card because you don't lose any cards. You just shuffle them to the deck and then draw again. It's a -1 card, but that's completely fine by me. 2 emergency calls. Again, you can upgrade this to 3 if you just want that extra security for drawing into the monster you need. Next we have Favorite Hero, which has helped me in quite a few pickles, so I'm very grateful to it. Equip only to level 5 or higher hero monster. It's going to be your fusion monsters. If you control a card in your field zone, which would be either Skyscraper or Sorceress Spellwall, which I'm running in this deck, 1 copy of each. The attacked monster gains attack equal to its original defense. So you could use this on any of the fusion monsters. It's really good. Or the masked hero monsters. What else does it do? Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, which is also a good effect. This is a really good card for 1 monster. It's your favorite hero. At the start of the battle, at the start of the battle phase, you can activate 1 field spell directly from your hand or deck. So that's pretty good, honestly. So if you begin in the battle phase, you can activate this effect. Even if you don't have a field spell, you could get 1 from your deck or activate 1 from your hand, and then your monster gains the attack equal to its defense, which is pretty sick. You can only use its effect of favorite hero once per turn. When the equipped monster attacks and destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can send this card to the graveyard. The attacking monster can make a second attack in a row. It's pretty cool. Pretty good card. Skyscraper. If an elemental hero monster attacks a monster that has higher attack, the attacking monster gains 1000 attack during damage calculation only. Good card. Only works when an elemental hero monster attacks. So that's most likely going to be you unless you're playing against another elemental hero deck player. Sorcerer Spell Wall. All monsters you control gain 300 attack during your turn only. All monsters you control gain 300 defense during your opponent's turn only. You could go without this card if you want, but I like it just to get the extra attack and defense. Shard of Greed. Each time you numeral draw, get a green greed counter, excuse me. Extend the card with 2 or more greed counters and draw 2 cards. Good card. Get more cards in your deck, in your hand. That's what I love to see. That's why it's also this deck is also a going second kind of deck. Mass Change to get your masked heroes. Jar of Greed, just get another card, because why not? I like getting, like I said, more cards in my hand. Bottomless Trap Hole, a good alternative if you don't have, or if you don't know of a lot of good negates. I would say stopping a monster from being summoned and used, and then banishing him is a pretty good effect. So I'm running 2 of these. I'm running 1 Sakuretsu armor, because sometimes I need to keep, or a lot of times honestly, I need to keep my heroes on the field. And if somebody outbosses my boss monsters, then it's not going to be a good time. So I keep Sakuretsu armor on deck just in case. 2 Threatening Roar for the same reason. If a monster gains an effect, if a monster has an effect that's activated on attack declaration, then this is good for stopping that. Excuse me. Wall of Disruption is good if your opponent has multiple boss monsters on the field on like turn 1. You could ruin their day unless they have a negate, which negates this, which will ruin your day in turn. When a monster declares an attack, all attack position monster your opponent controls loses 800 attack for each monster they control. Pretty good if they have multiple monsters. And finally, storing Mirror Force, which is honestly, in my opinion, a must-have in this deck. In any deck, honestly, because it's way too good. These return all your attack position monsters to the hand. So if they're extra deck monsters, they return the extra deck instead of going to the graveyard, where they could potentially be special summoned from. So if they go to the extra deck, they have to be special. They have to either be special summoned from a specific card again, or fusion Xyz, whatever, summoned once more, which requires more monsters, and it's not going to be fun. But anyways, that's the main deck. Let's get on to the side deck, or the extra deck, excuse me. So I have about 1 of each attribute that I know of, I'm sure. I may be missing one, but I'm pretty sure I have all of them. So here we're running Elemental Hero. Let me fix my camera. We're running Elemental Hero Gaia. It takes 1 Elemental Hero monster plus 1 Earth monster. Cannot be special, must be fusion summoned, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. And then when this card is fusion summoned, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Its attack is halved, and this card gains the same amount of attack. This is a good card for defeating your opponent's boss monster. If it's way bigger than yours or just bigger yours in general, I recommend using Gaia to split its attack and then gain that same attack to guarantee a kill of that monster. Next up we have Masked Hero Goka. This is my fire type Masked Hero. Again, I have a Masked Hero for each attribute, just in case I have, a monster of each attribute and a Mass Change in hand. Must be special summoned with Mass Change. Gains 100 attack for each hero monster in your graveyard, which isn't a bad effect. This should be used late game, like I said, last ditch effort. So you have 5 heroes in your graveyard. That's 2,700 attack. Pretty valid. All right. Next we have Masked Hero Dark Law, which is my Dark Masked Hero. Must be summoned by Mass Change. Any card that ascends to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. Pretty powerful effect, in my opinion. Once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase or damage step, you can banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand. So if they draw, you can banish a card. Interesting effect. Not too bad. I don't use them quite often. Next we have Masked Hero Blast. This is my wind type Masked Hero. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack. And I think that's forever. Yeah, it doesn't say until the end of the turn. Its turn. It just says becomes half its current attack, which is not a bad effect. Once per turn, quick effect. You can pay 500 life points, then target one spell/trap card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Not a bad card at all. You could change that to traps, which is a pretty good card. The hero of our deck, Sunrise. Next we have Absolute Zero. One hero monster plus one water monster. Must be fusion summoned. Gains 500 attack for each water monster on the field, except Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. And this is a really good card, not for that effect, but its next effect. If this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters your opponents control. Not if this card is destroyed by battle. Not if this card is destroyed by spell effect. If this card leaves the field. If it goes to the graveyard. If it's banished. If it returns to the deck, to the extra deck, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Very powerful card. I love this card. This is probably my second favorite card in this deck. Fusion summon card in this deck. Next we have two copies of The Shining. I've been using him less and less honestly. But he is a very high attack he's a very high attack monster that also combos well with Miracle Fusion, as he gains how much? 300 attack for each banished elemental hero monster. So if you use Miracle Fusion to banish two monsters, that's an extra 600 already, which puts him at 3200. Very, very, very strong boss monster. And its second effect is when this card is sent to the field from the field to the graveyard, you can target up to two of your banished elemental hero monsters and add those two to your hand, which is great. I would recommend banishing Blazeman and Liquid Soldier when you have the chance, and then in order to summon the Shining, and then if the Shining goes to the graveyard, what does it say? Sent from the field, not even by battle, but it also considers card effect. Then you can get Blazeman and Liquid Soldier into your hand. Normal summon Blazeman, grab a Poly, Liquid, and Blazeman into whatever you want, or whatever you can, and then get the draw 2 -1 from Liquid Soldier. Great card. So next I have my water type maxed hero, which is Masked Hero Acid. When this card is special summon, destroy as many spells and traps your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, all monsters they control lose 300 attack. Pretty good card. Not a bad card, honestly. It has high attack. It has the same attack as the Shining, and it's good for clearing the back row. I like it. This is my second favorite. Elemental Hero Nova Master takes one Elemental Hero monster plus one fire monster. So it's gonna be great. I'm honestly just waiting to tell you guys about, or show you guys some of the games I've played. But I've been recording for almost 40 minutes, Jesus. So one Elemental Hero monster plus one fire monster. Must be fusion summoned. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw one card. Good monster. If you have it paired with Sunrise, we have a light and a fire monster. So that's an additional 400 attack per monster, which puts him at 3,000, which could probably destroy any card. So when it destroys a monster, then you draw one card. Again, this deck has a lot of card drawing. So next we have my Earth Masked Hero Dion. When this card destroys an opposing monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. It has a high attack and a high defense. Wow. You could use him to special summon Blazeman, get the Poly, special summon Shadow Mist, get the Mass Change, or Clayman if you just need defense. Next we have our Light Masked Hero Koga. This card gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. Not a bad effect. 500 attack, that's a lot. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can banish one hero monster from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. That target loses attack equal to the attack of the monster banished to activate this effect until the end of this turn. Wouldn't really recommend using him. I would think you have better masked heroes with better effects you could use with a higher attack as well. And then I have a second masked hero. This one kind of looks like a lizard, weird enough. Oh, no. That's his, that's a scarf. I thought that was part of him. I barely realized like that. Anyways, masked hero Divine Wind. Must be special summoned with mass change and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Interesting. Effect. Your opponent can attack with only one monster during each battle phase. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can draw one card. So honestly, a pretty good Master Hero card. On par with Nova Master. And then, was there another one that could draw a card? I don't think so. But yeah, that's another one. That's another good card. But yeah, that's been my deck profile. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some sample vids now. Do I want to commentate over them? We're gonna go ahead and try to commentate over them. I'm not sure if I can. Let's go ahead and move my camera back over here. I'm not sure if I can pause these during. But anyways, I think this is one of my first wins. Took 4 rounds. Let's check it out. Okay, let's see who took first turn here. Can I pause it? Can. So my opponent took first turn here. Oh, dude, my mouse. So they normal summon their pendulum monster. What's going on with my mouse? Come on. I can't pause it. It doesn't pause. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, he's doing a bunch of pendulum summons. Oh, this is back when I ran Prisma and Bubble Man. This is an old iteration of the deck, one of the early iterations. What does Prisma do? Once per turn, I think we can go ahead and leave my... Oh no! I've changed the screen. So I can't rewind. I'm gonna move my thing up here. I'm gonna put it right here. So this isn't a good example because I didn't even use one of my iterations. Okay. Alright, let's look at this one versus Vichingo. I think this one still has Bubble Man. I used to like Bubble Man, but honestly, it's kind of a brick card because you're usually gonna have at least one card in the field and in your hand, so his effect doesn't really work that well. Okay, so my opponent takes first turn here, sets one monster, sets one spell trap, and passes to me, which is lucky that I didn't get first turn here because I drew into no playable monsters except Max C. So let's see what I do here. I have my Clayman. I'm assuming I'm gonna set him. Set one. Yep, pass turn. I had Dust Tornado. What does Dust Tornado do? Target one spell trap card your opponent's drawn. Destroy that target, then set one spell, which is a pretty good card. So that's my play. I use my Max C, my Dust Tornado to pop. I don't think he's using a very high level deck. I think he's using like a basic dragon deck. That's what it seems like, but we'll see. Attacks my face down, takes 100. Fair enough. I draw into Blaze Man. Perfect. So I summon my Blaze Man to get that extra Poly into my hand. I'm probably going to Poly into Sunrise here, which is always the goal. Alright, I get my Sunrise on the field. I use his effect to get a Miracle Fusion into my hand. I'm going to use my Miracle Fusion here. And let's see who I Miracle Fusion into. I'm guessing Nova. Yeah, Nova Master. Get my Nova Master on the field, so now I have plus 400 on both monsters. I attack with Nova, pop a face down with Nova Sunrise's effect. Attack his dragon for 1100, and then attack directly for 2900. Oh yeah, and then I get the draw one card for attacking, for destroying with Nova, which gives me my E. And I draw my Shadow Mist. Interesting. So I'm looking for that extra hero draw from sending Shadow Mist to the graveyard with Polly. Let's see if I draw into another monster though. Skyscraper. Alright, so I'm gonna Monster Reborn and use my Polly. What do I do here? The White Stone Legend, yep. Perfect. Comboing cards to you to chain their effects. Then we get my Shining onto the field. He gets his plus 400, I believe, or 600. No, he gets a lot from the banish. He got a lot. He has like 2600, no? Plus 1000. So he has plus 1000 right now from all the effects on the field, including his own. I got that Liquid Soldier from my Shadow Mist. Oh, it uses Mirror Force on all my monsters, and it's heartbreaking. I probably should use my effect there to destroy his face down. But I normal summon Liquid into my Shadow Mist, and then I mass change my Shadow Mist into my previously used Anki. What did my Anki do? We can attack directly, but the damage is halved. So this is another early iteration where I use Prisma. When it destroys a monster by battle, you can add a change quick play spell card. Alright, so I ended up summoning him, summoning a few more monsters, and that was the end of the game. Not a bad game, but I'm looking for another earlier one. So let's look at our most recent. Against Kuzen. And this may be my Girga deck. So we're going to see right now. Okay, this is my hero deck. Alright, so off the bat, not a bad hand. I like this hand. We have 3 monsters, one of them including Ash Blossom, which stops a draw from the deck. And then we have Blazeman, which gives me my Polly with a disposable monster in order to fusion summon into my Sunrise. So even if I went first this round, I could have done a lot with this hand. But all my opponent did this round was set a monster and then summon a monster. I don't know what that does. I don't want to read it. Let's see what I do from here. So we draw into Monster Reborn. Pretty good draw. Again, we're going to normal my Blazeman into grabbing my Polly. We're going to Polly, Blazeman, and Burstinatrix, I believe, into our Nova because we need 2 different attributes to get our Sunrise. So that's what we're going to go for here. I'm going to activate my favorite hero. Interesting. I'm going a little bit on the aggressive here. To activate my Sorcerer Spell Wall. I attack for 3,300. That was pretty heavy. And then I draw 1, set 1. Oh, I didn't draw 1 because I didn't destroy it. I set 1. I negate his card with Ash Blossom. Normal summons. I use my Bottomless Trap Hole. Oh, he uses his effect to send to the grave in order to activate effect, I believe. Yep, the Iris Sword Soul. Shame. That's fine though. So now it's at 4,100 to my 5,000. Interesting. Remember my Burstinatrix. Okay. He pays half his life points to stop the summon of my Burstinatrix for some reason. I use my Nova Master attack to his 4,100 and destroy it. Easy game there. Use my favorite hero's effect to attack again, but this was kind of a misplay as his defense position monster wouldn't have been destroyed this round anyways. Because I only have one monster and it is not destroyed once per turn. So it seems. So what is he going to? Link summon? I did draw into my Liquid Soldier with that other monster though. So he links. Oh, he synchro summons actually. Excuse me. But it's not enough to kill my Nova Master. So I use my Monster Reborn. Special summon my Blazeman. Perfect move. Perfect move. Activate Blazeman to grab a Poly. Use my Poly on Liquid Soldier and Blazeman to get my Sunrise into the field. Activate Sunrise. Chain Liquid Soldier. Resolve. Liquid Soldier draw 2. Discard 1. Goodbye Magical Mallet. Mordor draw 1. Turn run 1 kind of card. Grab my Miracle Fusion. Emergency Call is always great. Destroy that card, and he surrenders there. Unfortunate. I think he was hoping that I would destroy it by card effect, because if I remember correctly, his monster had an effect that would activate if destroyed by card effect. However, I outplayed him by simply attacking with the monster that wouldn't activate my Sunrise's effect, which is Sunrise. Anyways, let's check out against Matthew here and see how we do. See if we can learn anything different. Sorry for the crooked camera, by the way. My camera's actually upside down because for some reason when I record it's upside down. Alright, so this is my Girga deck. We're not gonna look at this one. We're gonna look at another Elemental Hero one. So how about against Kenaneth? Yeah, my capture's all messed up. Alright. Looks like White Son of Legend is another Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Yep. Alright, so he summons his Link Kuriboh. Some special summons his Blue Eyes White Dragon. I draw into Liquid Soldier, which is perfect. Use my Raigeki, see if he has any negates. I'm trying to bait out his negates. He has no negates. I destroy his field. I grab another Blazeman using my Reinforced with the Army. Special normal Blazeman to grab my Poly. Use Poly to send Liquid and Blazeman. Probably should click Blazeman on the field, to be honest. To get my Sunrise. Activate Sunrise. Chain Liquid Soldier. Draw 2, discard Max Change. Oh yeah, I used to run Parallel World Fusion. I don't anymore though. Grab my Miracle Fusion. And if you don't know, Parallel Fusion allows you to fusion summon with your banished monsters by sending them back into your deck. So, destroys face down, hidden for 5,900, set 1, and my turn. So he's doing his stuff, he's setting up again, resummon his Blue Eyes. Oh, he used Burst Stream of Destruction. I think that's what that was. Rip my monsters, I guess. But that's fine though. I have Monster Reborn in my hand. No problem for me at all. So he's Link climbing, yada yada yada. I hate Link monsters. They take so long to do. It's just no point. Who cares? They're not even powerful. You only use them for their effect and just keep summoning, use effects. Just fucking bull honky, bro. It's so boring. Nobody wants to be here for 10 minutes. Okay, all that struggle and resummoned his Blue Eyes. Send that dude to the grave. Grab another Blue Eyes. What is he doing, bro? What is that? Oh, he overlaid. Sheesh, for number 97. Cannot target with card effects. Interesting. Jesus. Luckily, I had my kunai with chain and just switched his shit to defense position. I would have lost right there. That would have been sad. That's why you always have trap cards. Trap cards are good, guys. So I parallel world fusion to. I think it's to bait his negate. What's he doing here? No, he just special summoned. Okay. So I parallel world fusion to my absolute zero. Holy. What am I doing here? Oh my god. Am I actually going to do it to him? No, that fuck. He Ash Blossoms my Blaze Man. I don't know why I didn't destroy his zero defense 9,000 card there. Or yeah. When these cards are destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy as many monsters on the field as possible. Yeah, I probably should have destroyed that card, honestly. So he swings at me for 1,800. Not bad. He knows my effect. If I leave the field, everyone else leaves the field. All of his monsters leave the field. Let's see how I handle this. So at this point, I would special summon my... Actually, I think I used both my polys already. No, I haven't. I would special summon my Blaze Man to grab my poly. Do it. Yes. Which I do. Holy shit. And then re-poly. And then with liquid. And either Shadow Mist. Oh, Shadow Mist. Hell yeah. Just to get that mask change. Which I think I already used, honestly. But also to have another element for Sunrise's effect. Do I get the mask change? Do I have the mask change? No, it's right here in my deck. So I had nothing to draw. Oh no, because when you send it to the grave, you grab a monster. Hero monster. So I grabbed Honest Neos. Sheesh, and I am just summoning off the wazoo, my guy. Look at that. Sheesh, 3,600. And I use Honest Neos, and that's game. And that's game. Honest Neos, I love Honest Neos. I love this game, and I love this deck. So if you guys like this deck, go ahead and try it out. I'll catch you guys later. I've been recording for a long ass time. Deuce.